Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope everybody's doing well out there. My name is Thomas Taylor III, coming to you live once again on this February 6th, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, as you can see, not only is this month moving fast, but the year is moving fast too. Well, I just want to come on for a little while and share a little something with you. Last week I did a Facebook Live on gifts versus your skills, right? And I got a lot of buzz regarding that, so I'm gonna go a little bit deeper another day, give you guys some information until you can log into, just so we can have a deeper discussion on that. This last week, I was actually speaking to people throughout the community, and that one kind of really resonated with them. And I think for the most part, sometimes we get so focused on what we're doing, we don't take time to even think about what our gifts are, and or nobody even stopped to ask us that question. So today what I want to talk about is how to manifest those gifts, right? So if gifts are important to you, why? Because in that book we read, some of us read, it says your gifts shall make room for you and put you in front of great men, right? So if you never thought about that, how do you manifest your gifts? I'm going to talk about 3 steps this morning. And again, I'm gonna have something, I promise you, where we can, just dive a little bit deeper. Well, the first thing in that step is to think about what your gift is. Right? Very, very simplistic. Now, why is that important? Well, one of the greatest books that was written is called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And some of you guys read that book, right? Think and Grow Rich, right? And when you understand that book from the beginning to the end, it's really about understanding how you can utilize your mind to produce things that are not even there yet, that don't even exist physically yet. Well, where's the first place that they exist? It's in your mind, right? Do you have the ability to think past your current reality? Because sometimes we just get stuck where we are and we don't never slow down and just think, what is it that I want to do? How do I want to get there? Right? So that's the first step. The second step is believing. See, that's the big one, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because the greatest person that you would ever have to convince, is yourself. Right? Les Brown says, if we conquer the enemy inside, the enemy outside can do us no harm. Just think about that. If we conquer all those things they said about us, if we conquer our fears, if we conquer our self-doubt, and just believe that we can. Now, I know it sounds very simplistic, right? But if you just kind of slow down for a moment and really understand that you have the ability, right? And the thinking is the first step of that. And then believing. Okay, so what does that look like, Thomas? If you know, or if you have an idea what your gifts are you practicing them? Right? Are you getting any feedback? Right? Are you talking to people? Right? Because when you speak to people about it, right, they're going to give you some feedback, right? And if you speak to the right people, they're going to give you some honest feedback. And when you get honest feedback, ladies and gentlemen, it tells you something. Okay? Right? So thinking, right? So again, I'm an open book. When I was 13, right, I just thought something was wrong with me. And I say, why is that? Because of the way I thought, right? The way I processed things was different than the peers around me, right? I used to articulate things to them, and they used to look at me like, Tom, like, what are you talking about? So the things that I used to speak, it was like Chinese arithmetic to them, It was just something in my mind because I was thinking differently. Okay. Then I started to get a little bit older and I started to understand and believe some of the things that I was thinking, right? Because now I got a little bit more confident, start talking to different people, start getting some feedback about it, right? And then I realized that I have a gift, right? And my gift is a gift of prophecy, right? Like I can see things happening another moment in time into the future in terms of vision before they actually materialized. Wow, right? That's kind of a little bit different, right? But I recognized that. Well, what did I do? I started to walk in that because I realized I had a gift also to inspire people, right? Just by conversation, right? What does that mean? Just talk to people, find out where they are, and just inspire them and stretch them to have them visualize and see themselves somewhere else. I take no credit for it, right? It's just a gift that God, my creator, has given me. But if I never practice that, if I never practice it, right? How would I know and understand how to move in terms of what direction to go? And then talk to people, right? So if I tell people right now, one of my gifts is inspire people. I say, yep, Thomas, yeah, that's right. You definitely have that gift. Well, how can I be confident to articulate it and then get that feedback if I never practiced it, right? So my challenge today with everyone is to just think about it. Just slow down for a moment and just think, what is it that you do? What is it that you like to do? How do you move? What are some people saying about what you do, right? And then believe it. Well, talk to people, right? Don't be afraid to get some feedback, good or bad, right? Because sometimes when we don't get the feedback that we feel that we want, we kind of curl and say, oh my goodness, man. Well, maybe I shouldn't. Like, whoo, wow, that was pretty, interesting what they said, right? But don't let that deter you, right? Because actually, ladies and gentlemen, the gift that your creator has placed inside of you. Now, hold on, listen to this. The gift that your creator has placed inside of you is not for you. I know that's a hard one to believe, right? I know that's a tough one, right? But when you get that, when you understand that he placed that gift inside of you to help other people, it frees you from the bondage of quote unquote owning it. No, you're a steward of it, right? So if you're a steward of it, right, you got to protect it. You got to guard it, right? That you got to believe, you got to identify it. And then you got to start telling people about it because you never know. I promise you, God is my witness. You never know how many people you can impact until you do it, right? Again, I use myself as an example. I've been going live for over a year now, right? Matter of fact, sometime this week, I'm going to post my first live that I did February 2nd last year, just to come on, and talk about things that I've experienced, things that I know. And it has helped a lot of people. So this is the last part of it. Think about it, believe it, and then create a story around it. Now, why is that important? That's important because when you create a story around your gift, the things that you believe that you were gifted to do, it helps cement your why you're doing it. Now, why is that important, Thomas? That's important because when the storms of life come, when the naysayers come, you're anchored in believing your gift. Why? Because your story is not their story. So what does that mean? What that means is nobody can tell you how to live out your story. Now, We all know everybody's going to have an opinion. We get that. And that's fine, right? But just manage that. Their opinion should not affect your outcome if your story is anchored into your why. Okay? So think about it, believe it, and then create a story, right? So I use myself as an example. Again, I understood that I had this gift to inspire people. Well, my story was I wanted to actually change my last name, right? And I said this before. So when I grew up as Thomas Searles. It wasn't my birth name. My birth name was Thomas Taylor. So I set on a quest, talked to my wife about it. She agreed to find my father. Ooh. This is a dude that I met one time in my life. Now I got to find him? Wow, okay. Well, what did I do? I thought that I can find him. Then I believed that I can find him. And then I found him. And when I found him, I created a story as to why I was looking for him. And that story was, I wanted to change our last name. Inside of that, ladies and gentlemen, I found out that my father's name was, and I never knew this before. Now, I'm 38, 39 years old in the game. My father's name, Thomas Taylor Jr. What? I never knew that. So in the quest, my why became deeper because now, think about it, my birthright name was Thomas Taylor III. Ooh. It became my story. Well, now guess what? Now I can tell my story and I can use my gifts to inspire people to either find their father, change their name, or understand that if you grew up without a father like me, it's not the end of the world. Why? Because I'm living proof that there's life after the pain of growing up without your father. But I was able to utilize my gifts of inspiring people. Now, inside of that, it was so deep for me that sometimes when I told it, I start leaking and I start crying because the pain was so deep. Because I never had to go there. I never had to deal with it. But what it did was it anchored my story. Now I can create a platform to utilize what I figured out was I had a gift. I had a gift to inspire people. Now, the area became self-improvement, self-development. You can do it. Come on, I got your back, right? Sometimes people are in a situation where if they had one person supporting them, cheering them on, that they can do it, they realize that they can. So if I ask somebody, hey, Mike, go ahead and run through that brick wall, Mike might say, I'm not so sure, Thomas. And say, okay, I'm going to have John help you go through that brick wall. I said, all right, cool. Let's go. We can do it. That's inspiration. That's inspiring. That's the gift that I have. But it was anchored in the story, in the pain of growing up without my father. Right? So just think about it for a moment, ladies and gentlemen. What is that thing? What is that gift that he has given you? Because we all have it. It's just, can we take the time to find it? Right? If you slow down a little bit, if you meditate, if you pray, and if you ask, he'll show it to you. Right? Then do you believe it? That's key. Right? If you believe it, start to walk in it. Start to utilize it. Start to ask other people, what do they think? Right? Because once you start to believe it, now you can move differently. Start to get your shoulders up, get your chest back, right? You're not walking and talking like, well, I think I can. Nah, you're saying it with your chest. Yes, you're right. Yeah, I believe it. I'm going to do more of it. And then you start to move differently, right? Because then now you start to build a story around that gift. Hey, yep, this happened to me. I was in this particular place and I thought about moving differently, right? And then I started to believe that I actually could do it. And then I did it and I started to get feedback from doing it. Once I started to get that feedback, I started to get deeper into the story as to why I'm doing it. So now when the storms of life hit you, because life doesn't care about anyone. Life happens to all of us. And when it comes, what are you rooted in? What are you anchored in? If you're anchored in that gift, which is the reason why he says your gifts shall make room for you. Because the Creator knew, once you knew what those were, there's nothing that anybody could do. Now that's the difference from skills. Right? Like I said last week. Why? Because skills are something that we learn. And that can change. Why? Because if you lose your job today and you were skilled in it, guess what? You may have to go and find another skill. Why? In order to survive, to earn income. Right? But your gifts, they don't move, they don't change like that. Because it's who you are. But sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, we don't slow down enough to identify and or believe them and then create a story around those gifts so we can walk in those gifts that your Creator, our God, has given you. So just think about it on this Sunday morning, right? How can I manifest those gifts? There's 3 simple ways, right? Just in the beginning. Just think about it. Slow down. Just think about it. Just process it in your mind. Just meditate it. Think about all the things that you've done in your life, things that you like to do, things that you didn't like to do, right? Then start to believe it. Because why? Why is that important? You are going to be the biggest person that you have to convince. That's you. Once you do that, anybody that's in front of you cannot stop you. But if you don't believe, when those naysayers come, they're going to rock you. They're going to shake you. You're going to be a little bit nervous. You're not going to be so sure. Ooh, maybe what they're saying is right. Nah. And then what's the story behind it? Your story becomes your why. And I said before, if your why is not strong enough to make you cry, I question your why. Because when that story makes you cry, when people come and either talk about you and or come to listen to you, they're going to feel it. They're going to feel your pain. And once they feel your pain, it opens them up. Now they're going to listen to you. Right? And then all of a sudden, you start to walk a little bit different. So again, on this Sunday morning, everyone, I just want you to slow down for a moment and think about, how can I manifest those gifts? Well, my name is Thomas Taylor III. It's been a plum-pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege. And again, on this evening at 7 p.m., myself and my partner, Miss Nadira Lewis, we do another Facebook Live called Dinner with the Coaches, ladies and gentlemen. And that's a forum where we get an opportunity, we bring a guest on, we have a topic, and we just go a little bit deeper about that topic to help the listening audience, maybe they've dealt with that particular issue. And then we also coach. We do like a live coaching. So, hey, if you're available this evening, come on over, join the call. It'll be fun. We always have a good time. But if you want to follow me, you can follow me on social media at Thomas Taylor III. You can email me, right, if you want to have a discussion at tyd@tailoryourdreams.com. And also, my website is almost finished. It's going to be tailoryourdreams.com. So when that comes out, I'll let everyone know as well. But until then, go out there, manifest your gifts, and make it a great day.